Welcome to the AEN Stories channel.
It didn't begin with shouting. It didn't begin with tears. It began with silence. Emily had always been loud. She filled every room she walked into, humming while she cooked, chattering about co-workers, filling the silence with podcasts or reality shows. Our house had always been alive with her noise, but over the last few months, the volume dimmed. She stopped humming. She stopped telling me about her day. And then, one morning, she left the kitchen radio off. That was the first time I noticed the silence. At first, I thought she was tired. Stress at work, maybe. She'd been complaining about deadlines, her boss breathing down her neck. I told myself she was just exhausted, that we were just in a rut. But ruts don't smell like cologne. Ruts don't leave receipts from hotel bars in coat pockets. Ruts don't lock the bathroom door at 11:45 p.m. while your husband is lying awake on the other side. The first undeniable sign came on a Tuesday. She'd gone to yoga after work, something she recently picked up, except when I opened the laundry basket later. Her yoga leggings were still folded at the bottom, untouched. Instead, the blouse she had worn in the morning was crumpled, stained faintly with red wine. I asked her how yoga was. She smiled too quickly, too brightly. It was great. We're doing core work now. I'm sore already. She lied while standing 3 feet away from me, smelling like Merlot. That was when the voice inside me shifted from suspicion to certainty. But instead of confronting her, I started watching. The phone was the first battlefield. Emily never used to care if her phone lay around. Now, it was glued to her hand. She carried it to the shower, slipped it under her pillow, set it face down on the nightstand. Notifications silenced. One night, I caught the glow of a message at 2:13 a.m. She rolled over, smirked at the screen, and typed something before setting it back down. I lay there pretending to sleep, my heart pounding, thinking, she's not smiling at me anymore. I started documenting. At first, it felt paranoid. Dates, times, little details scribbled in the notes app on my laptop. March 4th, lipstick smudge on wine glass. One glass missing from the set. March 12th, her book club ended at 11:50 p.m. Uber receipt shows drop-off from downtown. Not Sarah's house. But the more I wrote down, the more real it became. The evidence wasn't just in my head. It was ink and pixels, timestamps and credit card charges. By April, the distance between us was a canyon. She didn't touch me in bed. Her laughter, when it came, belonged to someone else. And when she looked at me, it was the look you give a piece of furniture, solid, dependable, invisible. One night, she came home later than usual. I was on the couch, lights low, pretending to watch TV. She thought I was asleep. She walked past me on tiptoe, humming under her breath, and I caught a glimpse of her face, glowing, flushed, alive. That was the moment I realized she wasn't mine anymore. Not really, but leaving, walking away without proof. That would make me the villain in her story. She'd twist it, paint me as paranoid, controlling. No, if I was going to end this, I needed clarity. I needed the truth laid bare, undeniable. So I waited. I watched. I sharpened myself in the silence. The breaking point came on a Saturday morning in late April. Emily was in the bathroom, door locked, her voice muffled through the steam. She was giggling, whispering in a way I hadn't heard in years. And then, clear as glass, came the sentence, "Stop it. I told you. I can't text when Hayes home. Not Daniel. Not my husband. Just him." I sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the carpet, feeling something inside me crack. Not loud, not violent, quiet, a splinter under the skin. When she walked out, towel wrapped around her hair, she kissed my cheek like nothing had happened. Her lips were cold. My skin burned where she touched me. I smiled back, pretended. But inside, the game had changed. That night, I created a folder on my computer. I named it the ledger. Inside, I began storing everything. Photos of receipts, screenshots of location history, recordings of the laughter that didn't belong to me. Every piece of her betrayal catalogued, every detail preserved. Emily thought she was erasing me with her silence. She had no idea I was writing the autopsy of our marriage. After that Saturday morning, nothing looked the same. Every smile she gave me felt like a mask. Every laugh was stolen. Every late night was proof. But instead of exploding, I turned inward. I became quiet, precise. If Emily was playing her game in the shadows, then I would meet her there. The phone became my first battlefield. She was careless one evening, left it charging on the counter while she stepped into the shower. Normally, it was locked down tight, face hid, 6-digit passcode, but notifications still lit up the screen. I saw his name flash twice, Mark, a bland, forgettable name, perfect for hiding in plain sight. Both messages came in within seconds of each other. Still thinking about last night. Can't wait until next weekend. My blood went cold, but I didn't unlock it. I didn't storm into the bathroom demanding answers. I took a photo of the screen, evidence, straight into the ledger. That was the rule now. Never confront, only collect. Her lies became predictable. Late meeting, drinks with Sarah, yoga retreat, always wrapped in casual confidence, like she thought he'd never dare to question her. But for every excuse, there was a receipt. I found charges on our joint card from restaurants I'd never been to, Uber trips that started near our house but ended nowhere near her office, even a hotel bill for 2 dinners and a bottle of champagne. I saved them all, dated, categorized, labeled. By May, I stopped sleeping beside her, not literally. My body was there, but my mind was in the shadows, across the street from wherever she claimed to be. One night, she told me she was working late on a campaign presentation. I knew the building. I knew the hours. I also knew no lights were on in her office when I drove past at 9:15 p.m. Instead, her car was parked outside a small wine bar downtown, so I sat across the street, watching, waiting. At 9:32, he arrived, Mark, tall, expensive suit, the kind of man who looked like he'd never had to beg for anything in his life. He kissed her before they even sat down, and Emily, my Emily, laughed with a sound I hadn't heard in years, bright, carefree, alive. I raised my phone, took photos, not to humiliate her, not yet, but because I needed proof that I wasn't crazy, that my life hadn't just dissolved in paranoia. When she came home later that night, I was on the couch, lights low, TV buzzing softly. She leaned down, kissed my cheek, told me she was exhausted. I smiled, told her to get some rest, and in my mind, I catalogued her perfume, the faint trace of his cologne on her blouse, the time on the clock, another entry in the ledger. By June, the lies had calcified into routine. She began carrying overnight bags, late team building trip, client meeting in Boston. Always professional, always justifiable, but the bags were too small for business, too casual for work. I started snapping photos of the contents when she wasn't looking, a dress, perfume, lingerie. Nothing about them screamed corporate retreat. One weekend, she claimed she was headed to a leadership seminar in Providence. I told her I hoped it went well. I kissed her goodbye, carried her suitcase to the car like the dutiful husband she thought I still was. An hour later, I was on the road behind her. She didn't go to Providence. She didn't even leave the state. She checked into a boutique guest house 30 minutes away, where Mark was already waiting. I watched from my car as she melted into his arms in the parking lot, like I had been erased from her body entirely. That was when I realized she wasn't even hiding anymore. And why should she? She thought I was weak. She thought I was fading, that he'd quietly vanish, leaving her free to rewrite the story however she wanted. But I wasn't fading. I was sharpening. From that weekend forward, I built my plan. Phase 1. Untangle myself. I opened a separate bank account, moved my paycheck into it, quietly cancelled the credit card we shared. I started keeping cash on hand, leaving nothing traceable. Phase 2. Relocate. I rented a small apartment across town, month to month, under my middle name. I started moving my clothes, my documents, small things she'd never noticed missing. A slow bleed, invisible. Phase 3. Documentation. The ledger wasn't just a folder anymore. It became a weapon. Photos of her with him, time-stamped, screenshots of their texts, receipts, bank statements, location histories. I even recorded one of their phone calls when she left her phone on speaker by accident, her laughter. The whisper of "I love you" meant for someone else. Every lie she told became a nail. Every giggle a hammer strike. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to end this quietly, surgically, in a way she'd never see coming. The last straw came on a humid Thursday night. She thought I was in the garage, fixing the lawnmower. I heard her voice through the open window, sharp but playful. "Hey, still here, but not for long. Don't worry, baby. Hell fade out eventually. Fade out." That's what I was to her. A ghost, a placeholder, a candle burning itself down. But she was wrong. I wasn't fading. I was about to disappear. On my terms. By July, my plan was finished. Emily thought I was still playing husband. In reality, I was setting the stage. I chose a Friday, the end of a long week, when no one questions a special dinner. I cooked her favorite risotto, lit candles, poured wine. Everything about the table screamed romance. She'd walk into the performance of reconciliation, not knowing she was walking into her own exposure. She came downstairs in a dress I hadn't seen in years. The green one she wore the night we closed on the house. She smiled nervously, eyes darting as if to gauge my mood. Maybe she thought I was softening, folding back into the role of the blind husband. We sat across from each other. The silence was heavier than the wine between us. She tried small talk, work, traffic, yoga. I nodded, gave her nothing. At exactly 7:30, the doorbell rang. Her fork froze mid-air. "Are we expecting someone?" I didn't answer. I stood, opened the door. Her parents stepped inside first, then her sister, then two of our closest friends, all carrying sealed envelopes I had hand-delivered earlier that week. Emily's face drained of color. "What is this?" No one spoke. They sat, tore open the envelopes, and slid the contents across the table. Photos, screenshots, receipts, hotel confirmations, Uber records. Her handwriting on notes never meant for me. Her mother gasped. Her father's jaw locked. Her sister shook her head in disbelief. Emily turned to me, panic rising. "Daniel, this is insane. You've gone too far. Stop." My voice cut like glass. Steady, controlled, final. "I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to show the truth. The truth you thought I'd never find. The truth they deserve to see." I slid a final envelope across the table. Inside, divorce papers. Signed, "This marriage is over. You don't own me anymore." Her lips trembled. For once, there were no lies left, just silence. And that silence was louder than any confession. 20 minutes later, she stormed out, heels clattering on hardwood, purse forgotten on the counter. The front door slammed hard enough to shake the glasses. Her family sat stunned. My friends stared at their plates. I poured myself another glass of wine, steady as stone. Because this wasn't revenge. This was release. The weeks that followed were strange. My apartment smelled of cardboard boxes and fresh paint. Lonely, yes, but free. No cologne that wasn't mine. No laughter seeping through bathroom doors. She texted, then called, then begged, promised she could change, that we could fix it. I never answered. The last time she showed up at my door, she looked smaller, hollow. She asked for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to explain. I let her speak. Then I said the only sentence that mattered. "You taught me the value of silence. Now that's all I have for you." And I closed the door. People think betrayal is loud. They picture screaming matches, broken plates, slammed doors. But the real kind, the kind that destroys you, it's quiet. It whispers. And if you're listening, you hear every word. Emily thought I would fade away, that she'd erase me with her lies. But I didn't fade. I sharpened. And in the end, I erased her, with silence. Walking away wasn't weakness. It was the only strength that mattered. I didn't just lose a wife. I found myself. And that was the coldest justice of all. Thanks for listening all the way through this story here on End Stories. If this one hit you, don't stop here. New stories drop every single day, and there's already a library waiting for you to explore. Subscribe to N Stories. Sometimes the quietest voices tell the loudest truths.